Welcome to the DPost Sports Chat. I'm Drew Rubenstein here with Ed Owens. We're Amon G. Carter Stadium, where the Mountaineers just defeated TCU 30-27 in overtime. It was a crazy game. I don't think we've seen one quite like this season, where WVU was down 17-3, come back, take a 10-point lead, and then they blow it, and then they end up winning it in overtime. Ed, what kind of stands out on this one that was just crazy?
Yeah, for the third straight week, WVU blew a double-digit lead late in the second half, but unlike the previous two, they did find a way to win it. They held on. They forced overtime. You had a 34-yard game-winning field goal from freshman kicker Josh Lambert. So they did things they hadn't done before. They did kind of have their ups and downs, but today, for the first time, they found a way to win instead of finding a way to lose.
You could probably pinpoint a number of turning points in the game for both teams. Quite a few of them come to mind, including the forced fumble that WVU had after Clint Trickett threw an interception and TCU was at the 2-yard line. But if you're looking for a player who really established themselves, it's probably Charles Sims, WVU's running back.
Absolutely. Senior running back Charles Sims. I think he had his signature moment as a Mountaineer, at least to this point in the season. Rushed for 154 yards, had a receiving touchdown, had a rushing touchdown. He was an absolute workhorse for them. I don't know that they came in with that as their game plan. Shannon Dawson didn't really indicate that they thought he was going to be able to have a great day, other than the fact that they have faith in Sims himself. He just went with the hot hand, which is kind of something they always say, if it works, keep doing it. They did it today, and Sims really paid off for him.
Did the defense, what did it learn about itself, WVU's defense, where for 2 quarters it looked horrible? Casey Paul was moving up and down the field, then they seemed to figure things out, and then the last couple minutes of the fourth quarter they fell apart again, and then they did enough in overtime to win.
I don't know that the defense really figured anything out about themselves. Paul did have a really strong day early on. Defensive coordinator Keith Patterson said that the zone just wasn't working, so they made some changes there, and it did work, at least temporarily. But if you're looking at Paul's numbers, 40 for 58, almost 400 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. He did lead the Horned Frogs there late in the fourth quarter to tie that game back up and force overtime. If you can say one thing about WVU's defense, they did hold. And once they got to overtime, you had Kyle Rose come up with a huge tackle for loss on first down. TCU shot itself in the foot with a 15-yard penalty, which really pushed them out of field goal range. That, I think, helped. It was a nice situation for WVU, but I think the defense still has a lot to learn, a long way to go.
Kind of looking at where the Mountaineers go from here, it seemed like after the game all the coaches and players were more relieved than anything else. It seemed that it had just been so long since they had won a game, and to actually find a way to win one that in previous games that they had found a way to lose these types of games. They host Texas next weekend, and then they get the 2 worst teams in the Big 12 in Iowa State and Kansas. But does this give them something to build upon, or do we keep things in perspective, given that TCU was also a 3-5 squad entering today, and it's not like they beat one of the juggernauts?
You're right. They didn't beat one of the juggernauts, but they did what they had to do. They came out, they got the win. They need to win 2 of their last 3 games here. And really, like you said, they're going against kind of the bottom feeders in the Big 12 in Kansas and Iowa State. So even if they don't get a win against Texas next week, they can still kind of hang their hat on the fact that they did what they had to do today. They still are in position for the bowl berth, which is kind of what they've been talking about as their main focus now for this point. That's what they can do to salvage this season. So it wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty, but they did what they had to do to win, and they're coming out here with a victory.
All right, I think that'll do it for us from here at TCU. It sounds like it could be another December in New York City. We'll see. Thanks for tuning in today, and please continue to check TheDPost.com for all the latest on the Mountaineers.